It's me again. um, Tonight, I'm going to talk about a subject that I've been dealing with my whole life. I really have been. And it's a subject that most people are not going to want to respond to because of the subject matter. This is a bit graphic, but I know that the truth needs to be told about this. I know that Spirit has led me numerous times to tell this truth, and I'm going to do it now. I haven't done it sooner than this because this particular truth involves me, my daughters, my granddaughter, my mother, my grandmother. We all had to deal with this, and I know that we did. It is about sexual abuse, but it's not physical as in it's happening here in the physical realm, because it's happening somewhere else. And I'll describe it to you this way. I woke up in a dream one time, and I knew that I was dreaming when I woke up in it. And when I woke up because there was a man behind me raping me. So I was in the spirit realm. My physical body was here, and my spiritual body was on the other side. And he had me in a house, and he had 3 demons with him. I couldn't see him. I'm pretty sure he was wearing a mask. But I did decide to go ahead and follow him because I wanted to know who he was. And I definitely wanted some justice out of this, although it is very, very difficult to get justice for this particular type of rape. There are no laws against it. And if a man can use his spirituality and figure out how to do this because he's a shapeshifter or somebody that's very wise in esoteric knowledge, if they can do this, think about that and get away with it. They don't have to go to court. They don't have to lose their careers. They don't have to have a felony on their record. They can just astral project to you and have their way with you. Now, this particular person, I didn't know it yet. But as I followed him through the dimensions, I had to go down several to catch him. And I did. I went down about 2 or 3 dimensions to find him. And I found him at his home, but he was getting on his motorcycle because he knew I was following him. He got on his motorcycle and he peeled out. I knew who it was immediately because of where I was at. I knew it was a tow truck driver that I had grown up with. I knew that he was a shapeshifter. That wasn't the first time I caught him in my dreams. That was the last time. The first time I caught him in my dreams, we had just started dating, maybe 3 or 6 months, maybe. But it wasn't very long. And I had a dream about him, and he popped up in my spiritual house. I just happened to be there, and he just popped right up into it. And I seen him there, and I was pretty upset about it. And I went to his home here in the physical, and I talked to him about it. And he did admit that he was there. And he did say, "It's because you invited me." And what that meant was well, you slept with me. So you think you have every right to be in my spiritual house? I told him, you don't have a right to be in my spiritual house. We're dating. We're not married. And I was very upset he was there. But he did admit to that. And then later, about 3 months or so, we had broken up. And that's when I had caught him in the second dream. Now, this really did happen. I have no way to press charges on him. I can just imagine going to the police department here and telling them this story and them, calling an ambulance to take me to a hospital somewhere because it's in the spirit realm. But the spirit realm is real. It is. And as above, so below means that as it is in heaven, the spiritual realm, heaven's spiritual realm, so it is below on earth. They have sex over there. They truly do. I mean, in Tucson, Arizona, there's two spirits that get together in a room and have sex. It's the prostitute with her John. So, I mean, this is not so far-fetched. This is something that's been happening to me since I was young. But it didn't just happen to me. It happened to my mother, my grandmother, and both of my daughters, and now a granddaughter. And I'm someone who has always told my children and my grandchildren, if you have any dreams, that scare you or whatever, just come and talk to me about it, because I'm very curious as to what's going on in their spiritual realm, and also checking to make sure that they're safe, which these kids are not. They're not. I heard the cry of my granddaughter, and I went to go see her, and it was not good. I'm pretty traumatized from seeing this because she was so young, and these men, they were so old. There was 3 of them, and they had her on a bathtub. They had her legs open. They had a stick with a bunch of cotton balls on it. I couldn't murder them in the moment. I wanted to, but there was 3 of them. So me and Nicole got out of there. And again, they weren't prosecuted, and this was an underage girl that this occurred to. At the time, I had a fake spiritualist named Vince here and another one named Mark. And they were supposed to show us how to protect ourselves in the spirit realm. And I know for a fact that Vince was seen in my daughter's dream by my daughter because she came and told me. But it wasn't just him. He brought his buddy with him, the one he pledged his allegiance to, the devil. So my daughter seen both of them. This is something that happens to many people who have psychic abilities. And it doesn't matter whether it happens in the spiritual realm or in the physical realm. It is still rape. It does the same damage. It's just as humiliating. And like I said, it's just as damaging. I wanted to talk about this because no one does. And it's something that we should be talking about if it's happened to you. And you just hold on to that secret forever. It isn't going to do you any good. But maybe your secret can help somebody else get out of it. And most would ask, how do you get out of it? I got out of it by praying to God. I do pray to God quite often. And I do tell him what is going on. If it's really bad, he knows about it right away. I do. And then that kind of stuff stops. That's how I've been dealing with it. I've been calling on my guides, my guardians, my beloved angels and ancestors, and they have all been here protecting me. Because my dream state was messed with so often, the only time I dream now is when God is showing me something. And it's difficult for me to remember it when I get back to the physical realm. Very difficult. I get messages in different ways, for sure. I've had to work around a lot of things. My clairaudience was blocked. At one point in time, my third eye was completely gone. It had been taken out. Anytime that we're assaulted here in the physical realm, we can file charges. But in the spiritual realm, it's going to be seen and heard by God, and it'll happen in judgment. But it doesn't stop the trauma. It doesn't stop the trauma or the post-traumatic stress disorder from being traumatized over and over again and again. Rape, no matter what, is an act of violence. It's an act of somebody wanting to control you. And it's not a good thing for anybody. It's not good for the person that does it to you. It isn't good for the person that's receiving it. And I'm hoping somehow, some way, this truth helps someone. I know that me speaking it and telling it is going to help my family heal from it. And I hope and pray that it helps another family heal from it too. I will get back to my story in a while. It's been a long day, and I wanted to make sure I made this today because I love my family, and I didn't know how to protect my family from this when it was occurring, and I couldn't stop it, and I feel horrible about what happened to my granddaughter because my granddaughter has had a few nightmares since then. And we all know what it's about. And I don't see the point of hiding this and keeping it a secret anymore because it's something that's affecting us. And I would imagine it probably affects other men and women in the world too. Okay, well, I'll be back soon with another one. Happy holidays.